Hi there, Zelda here, and welcome back to Hourglass Season 2, Episode 7. I have a few things in store for this week, but the very first thing I'm very excited to say, we have a section of each of the Nether tunnels done this week. Now, I'm hoping if all went well, you would have seen an introductory time lapse as I was completing one section, but I want to, in case that didn't come across, I want to get in right away and show you the awesome progress that we've made this week. Because after we're done with the sections of the Nether tunnel, then I'm going to shift my focus back out into the overworld for some storage items. So I believe, I'm 90% sure I showed this section last episode at the end. I really hope I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm losing track. I'm so losing track. So I apologize. Also, this is kind of our temporary setup since this was the first tunnel done. So this is all the build materials. But one of the things, the design element that we went with was to make a city skyline with the background being different in each tunnel. And then if there was open exposed nether, what we're going to do is we're going to end the concrete so that we can see the natural formations in the tunnels. So the blue tunnel was kind of the first, was the basic. Oh, hold on. I didn't realize I had my music off, or my sounds off. Yeah, it sounds creepier in the nether with sounds on. Maybe that was subconsciously why I didn't do that. The next tunnel we tackled is this green one here, and you'll notice that a couple people have been working to dig out the next section. I believe Misty and Husker have been working on that, but I feel like the green is probably my favorite color. The green and the magenta both came out really cool looking, and I'm not exactly sure what it is for the green. I think it just feels more vibrant. Like the blue actually feels really subdued comparatively to the green. Like the green truly feels neon. And Neon Modern was our theme for this month. So I'm very glad I stocked up on rockets because I'm just going to zip back and forth several times in each one of these. Also, you'll notice that we left a pretty fair amount of space before we actually started each tunnel. And that's because we want like a centralized hub, which is going to be one of the things that we try and tackle this last week, is to get an idea for what we're going to put in the central nether hub. But this one, hopefully the time lapse comes across. But it was so interesting, because this was really the first tunnel with a big open section down below. And now yellow glass makes it really hard to see in the nether, especially since there's such bright lights. So we don't get a huge amount of detail, but what we do get is just the suggestion of like what the nether looks like down below, and I love it. And even this part that like juts out, Burke wasn't sure, like he dug this area out and he's like, I wasn't sure what to do with that, if we did white concrete around it or if we just left it. And I was like, you know what, I kind of like that it's natural like that because it's supported by the basalt pillar. And it looks very, like, it's obviously, it's a natural feature. We didn't change it much. We just dug down enough so that we could put our tunnel parts over it. So I hope that it doesn't get too difficult or challenging. I know Electra was having a lot of problems on this last tunnel over here that we're going to get to. Not the magenta tunnel, but there's an additional piece of this tunnel that I'm going to talk about. And when we're working over the exposed nether, it's kind of challenging in that we have gas shooting, and the concrete powder and the wool, not exactly gas-proof blocks. The concrete and so the white concrete at the bottom and the black concrete at the top are not terrible, but the glass and the concrete powder and the wool is awful. So this is the magenta. Oh, hello. Okay, I've got to be careful because I don't know how this is going to work. Interesting. So we're going to have to come up with an idea for the cross section unless we like that. I hadn't been in here yet, so I don't know. That's interesting. That caught me off guard. But yeah, so then the tunnel turns, and it goes from the magenta glass to purple. But we wrap that purple around, and this obviously is going to be, if hopefully it's obvious. It's our end tunnel. This is what gets us to our end portal down there, to the stronghold. And so I thought it was really fitting, that we had purple on this. This is the east tunnel. And so I was like, you know what? We'll just wrap it. It doesn't have the same gradient that the other tunnels do, but I think we can theme the offshoot tunnels to some of the major areas. Like, there's going to be 2 that we are going to offshoot in this west tunnel. Or, no, one in this west tunnel, sorry. My apologies. And this is going to be, hopefully we can make it go really far. But this goes up to our raid farm and our mining desert and stuff. So when we take the offshoot for that tunnel, I'm hoping to be able to theme it. But this is a long way out there. So the tunnels are definitely going to be a continuous, like, work in progress. Probably just as just a grindy project for people that want to do something. The section of the end tunnel that Electra did, he said it took about 4 hours completely on his own. He had to dig, put all the blocks in, and repair some damages from the gas. So when we're able to work together, it's pretty quick. But then when we're working individually, it does take a while. Just because these are really big. I mean, it takes me 1 full flight duration, ouch, 1 rocket gets me the whole length of the tunnel. So I might have been a little bit overly ambitious and creative. It didn't feel like it was this big, but it very much definitely is very big. So the digging time and then tool repair time and all that jazz, so to say. And we're not blasting the tunnels because we still want to keep the nether nice. So one of the other things I did, let's go down there, is I kind of polished up a bit of the raw nether. So like before, yes, I do remember showing this because last time I came down here and got lost, there was like a huge big mess here of like our day 1 tunnel stuff. So we're gonna have to incorporate in the nether hub a way down to that fortress down there, a way up to the nether roof. We got some considerations to make, but yeah, I did come out here. I cleaned out some areas where we had gas explosions, weird janky bits that were still just like floating in the nether, and then also all of those day 1 like jumping, like if you have cobble and you jump before you get the soul speed on these boots, like you can't run around like this on day 1. So a lot of times the raw nether ends up with like jumping cobblestone steps that help make it more user friendly to get around. So that is what I started with this week. And then I've got one more project that's kind of oops, oh, it's nighttime. This time I do have a bed. I don't have to go running for the bed. I do have one more project from last time that I didn't follow up with. I'm so sorry. For anybody who was really interested, I cut weird. I talked about the fact that I was going to update the storage in this build, and you can kind of see some sneaky hints that some work has been done on this build, and then I never came back and showed the results. So let's talk about it a little bit. I ended up having to do the storage down here and the sorting up here, which is unfortunate because, like I mentioned, I really liked how Max had done the build. It was so bright and so, like, I don't know, so welcoming in this top part. But it worked so much better to separate the redstone. So it's going to feed in from the water up there and then go across the sorting, and then outside, after it goes through all of these sorting slices, I'm trying to make sure that, and I don't know if it's going to be hoppers. Oh, uh-oh. Zelda missed a hopper. I don't know if you guys can see it super well, but there's no hopper in that space. But basically what I wanted to do was to always make sure that I had room for like runoff from my sorting systems in case something happens, and like either the filters break or somehow the wrong items come in. So I'm running the overflow out, and I figured we'd just have, you know, check it occasionally to make sure nothing's going on. But this is all the endstone stuff. And then last time we were here, there was I think it's a calcite block, was like right here or right there, because directly beneath it was the skeleton. So I fixed the drops, I moved them slightly, and then oh, look, immediate. And we can see it too. It's funny. I didn't realize that glow squid would spawn in there, but that makes sense. I used a different configuration of a spawner. I wonder if that slows spawns down. I don't honestly know. Do glow squid, because he's emitting light in there. Does he? Okay, I'll figure that out in a second. But yeah, the other guys haven't spawned yet. Okay, let's peek our heads in there. Hopefully I get that back. Come here, buddy. Oh, nope, wait, hold on. Oh, I don't want to aggro those guys. I probably already did. Hi! Oh, it didn't matter. They went in the drop chute. So yeah, I used a different configuration than I ever had before. So basically what it is, there's a solid thing of water that breaks their fall so we can control the damage that they take. And then there's a row of signs. Go in the trench, y'all. Sorry. This is what I get for breaking in to their death trap. Oh, and then this one's walking. Oh no! This is just going from bad to worse. I should not have broken here. My bad. Excuse you? Okay, so as you can see kind of the bones, there's like a second set of water down there, under the signs that pushes them into a trench that then gets them, into this... There's an experience orb floating. It goes up here, comes around, and drops down here. And so you're able to stand anywhere in this room, if you want, for whatever reason. If somebody needs to like AFK temporarily and they just want to drop down here, this room is safe. There's no bad things. And then we get passive bones and arrows. So it's not super efficient. It's probably like if we set up a filter on the Nether farm, the Nether Fortress farm to collect arrows, this thing would be immediately obsolete. But so far, this is the only passive way we have in this world to collect arrows. So for those of us that use an infinity bow, it's not such a problem, but if somebody uses a mending bow, we didn't have a very great supply of it. So I did AFK here a little bit. I got about 3 stacks each of bones and arrows, just over, while I was like folding laundry, just to test it and make sure that I had it right. So I apologize for leaving that out of the last video, but for this week, oh, I always have arrows in me. You can kind of see a sneak peek over there. I actually meant to turn that off. This is actually going to be the next project. So, I have my build completed for the villagers, and then I'm also going to bring over the schematics for the other buildings, because some of the people on the server work better in the actual survival server. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in the framework for the builds, but I'm going to go ahead and build mine up. You can see kind of the footprint of it, and I do have to do some terraforming around it. So far all I did was just push the hill back enough that I can build, and then I'll make it look natural and intentional, like not just like, hey, it's just cut into the hill. So I'm gonna leave you off and run that time lapse to build this, and then depending on how long the other items take me to bring over, we may have yet one more project for this week. I'm excited! back from yet one more time lapse. I'm so excited. I didn't think I would be able to get so much done this week, but it turns out I was able to get it done. So this is the first of the villager houses that are coming over into this kind of field, I guess we'll call it. It's gonna turn into like a big town square here. But I'm glad to get an early start on something. Usually I'm one of the last people finished. So it feels good to have this. Now, there are a couple things in the time lapse you would have seen me put in 3 floors, and currently there is well, first of all, a missing block. Oops. I have no idea how I managed that. But also there's no way up into the other 2 floors. They're all lit. I intentionally put torches in my schematic so that I would remember to light as I went and keep it all spawn proof. How did I manage that? I have no idea how I managed that. I'm gonna have to fix that. There's a mushroom block that goes there. Then the other thing that we've got to figure out is so the way up between the floors, I think is going to be a spiral staircase. And then where the villagers go. So, like, the villagers that are slated for this one are the cleric and the village breeder. But again, I'm not entirely sure that that's going to be where the breeder goes. I have, we have spawnable spaces. Oh no. I have this idea of this hilltop becoming a train station that hooks to this rail line here. And then having this nice walkway down into town along this, I'm breaking things, along this little hill here, down into the front. And I thought it would be kind of funny if the villager breeder could go in the hill here underneath, so that it's like the passengers are unloading from the train if we ever need more villagers. So if that is the case, then this might just be the home for the clerics for now, in which case it's pretty big, and we might be able to house some other ones in there because, like I said, there's 3 floors, and currently there's exactly nothing in there. So I've got to work on the interior. And then the other thing I've got to do, this is the first build that I have forgotten to incorporate all these little yellow X's that you see. These are spawnable spaces. This is the first build that I've done in this world where I didn't account for spawn proofing in the build. So I think what I'm going to do just for a temporary fix is to come... Oh, that's how I break things. I punch at them. But I think I'm going to come in and put moss carpet across the top. Maybe mix it with some moss green wool. Green and lime wool for the top, just so that it can keep some of that gradient effect. So I've got to work on that. So I'm gonna probably finish that up before I start my next project, and then I will bring you back in for an update on the next project. Hi there! Welcome back. This is future editor Zelda, and I'm coming at you with a little bit of an update because I'm a derp. That last clip that said I was going to be introducing the next project, the next area. Yeah, so about that, I got really excited to do the project, and I started it before I recorded an introductory clip, which is why we are in the creative world at the moment, as you can tell by the creative inventory and the fact that I can fly, and the fact that spawn doesn't look quite right. But because our server, our creative server, is set to the same seed as we have for the survival series, or for the survival server, so that we can work cooperatively on testing community builds, it means that I have the perfect before and after right now. I can show you guys what this project looked like before I actually got started on it. So let's, without further ado, it's actually right here, and this is a natural land formation that was on the server as part of the Caves and Cliffs update. I don't know that if it was supposed to be a cave and it just like didn't get generation, or if it's something else. And because I've seen a lot of these like where they're really deep, like I'm calling it a divot. I don't know what else it would be called, but I'm also calling it a pit. Right here where this magenta wool is, there is a creeper farm down there. So what we did was, in surveying the land, if you notice, like this is some of the lowest, flattest area, and we are at Y88 here. So we'd have to get down to 0 and then the negatives. So we decided to use this natural formation that was already like most of the way down, or well, not most of the way down, but a lot further down. And then we had like significantly less to dig, because this farm was put in week 1. So we didn't have any of the beacons yet. So that is all the way as low as it'll go. I think there's 3 levels, but what I'm going to do with this area here, let's go up here. Maybe this will be the best way to talk about it. This is going to be a path that comes in here and then like curves around down. And the original plan was that the storage was going to go on this wall, which is why you see the path markers going all the way over here. However, there's actually like a cave in there. And then even like another one, a bigger one back behind this wall about 5 or 6 blocks, which doesn't give us much space to work with. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the path around this way, and I'm going to use this wall here for storage. And the idea for this storage area is the Oceana, the ocean, corals and coral fans, sea pickles, kelp, the sands, sandstones, red sand, red sandstone. Basically, like, you know, imagine if you're at the beach, everything that you could find at the beach. So in order to incorporate those items in this storage, I want to make this a custom terraformed lake. Maybe, I don't know. Lakes are usually a bit bigger than this. But what I wanted to mostly show you was the before terraforming, because like there was this like weird bump here. There's just some like weird like alcovinesses, like the cave entrance there, and the fact that the creeper farm, oh my gosh, so sorry, you probably all thought my mic just cut out. I just forgot my word. Like the creeper farm has this really unnatural shape to it. So what I want to do is come in and give it some life. So I'm going to, I'll cut here, and then I'll bring you back in for a little bit of a progress update to show you guys the concept. And unfortunately, because of the replay errors and my mic settings were wrong for a couple of my clips, and this project didn't even get an intro. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to finish the project this week, but we can get a really bang up start and I can introduce it to you. So I'll be right back. Poof! Just like that, we're back in the same exact spot that I just left off. I thought that'd be kind of fun. And you can kind of get a peek for some of the ideas. So let's walk through this a little bit. Like I said, I got a little bit carried away. I was just going to do a little bit of prep work, but then I pulled out the blocks and started working with them and just had a lot of fun with these first couple ideas. So basically what I want to do is to turn this into a coral reef, but not just have the normal like corals that are like, you know, 1 block wide and kind of like spiky, or the clumpy ones. I wanted to make them pillars to really honor the idea of the basalt in the nether. So the basalt pillars that go from like floor to ceiling in the nether almost sometimes, and also these new dripstone caves, to really play into the like dripstone configurations also. And I'm being a little bit sneaky because this over here is a water chute I'm gonna probably mess up some torches by doing this, so I'm not gonna do it for too long. But as you can, let's just double check. Yeah, and I've messed up this water stream several times. Yeah, okay. I don't think we lost any torches there. But yeah, so Zelda's been playing with water, and I keep washing the torches out in here, and did have a creeper spawn on me just once. But basically that elevator there behind me goes up into the hostile mob storage up there. That's actually where our gunpowder goes from this AFK platform here. So we've got several design concepts that I'm working with. Number one is the very large, exaggerated corals, and I do have them marked out where I'm going to put each different one. I think I have 2 of each color, one big one and one little one. So like that's the big red, and that's the little red. It might get a little bit cluttered. When I was mapping these out, I didn't realize how much the anchor points were gonna spread. And I'm not quite sold on what I'm gonna do with the yellow one since, wait, was that it? I thought I just heard a pillager. Holy cow, I am hearing things. It wasn't in the subtitles. But like, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the spread up there because we're getting very close to actually being outside of this little land feature that I'm trying to stay inside of. So I've got to figure that out. And then also I'm not sure I like the spread on the top one there because it's not anchoring to anything. And that's kind of how I imagine these little tendrils, as like they were grabbing onto the rocks and anchoring, and that is what allowed the corals to grow. So we've got to figure out a little bit of like the anchor points for the top where it's open, because I don't really want to close this in. Instead, what I want to do is do a fog effect up to this level here that we're actually standing on, and treat this as like a normal, kind of almost like a floor, and then have the access to the storage area over here. It comes up from the main water trunk down there. I'm very glad I didn't fall in that when I did my little elytra hop. So I hope I left enough space. I didn't count the items, but if I absolutely need to, we can push this back even more and go under the rock slide over here. But the idea of the fog effect coming up from the creeper farm, A, to give us a place for where we can AFK, B, I don't want to put any solid blocks over this area if I can help it. Like, I might have a couple from like that coral and maybe that coral and possibly the blue coral up in the corner depending on how they spread. But overall, it's pretty much going to stay sky access by having glass blocks, and it'll help soften that very unnatural shape of the creeper farm. And then after that fog effect up to this level, I think what I want to do is flood this whole area and have a conduit in here. Now, I gotta check with the server members if they're gonna want to deal with that, because again, this is a storage area, and that means that my redstone has to be sealed off. That means that people have to, you know, be comfortable like swimming down here. It kind of eviscerates the plan for like a quote-unquote path coming down this rock slide area. So there's still so much to decide, but I was having an absolute ball coming up with these. I don't know, I feel like they're unique. I hadn't seen them anywhere. It was hard to get a reference of like a tall, stretched out coral, because most corals in the ocean bed go across the ocean floor. But I really wanted to play into the idea of caves and cliffs just a touch more. So I think with that, I'm going to... the only other consideration, I just want to finish listing out the problems that I'm going to tackle this coming week. So as you can see, I kind of kept a similar style where the coral is in the center, and then there's like a really heavily textured block that I felt was like where the crystal's growing, and it's got a lot of nutrients packed in there. And then the part where it's like anchored into the rocks is a little bit duller, grayer, because it's not got the nutrients, but it's holding on. It's like really packed into the rocks. So with the blue coral and magenta and pink, I've got to find blocks that fit this kind of aesthetic to keep the same vibe. So I think I can get away with lapis for blue. I was thinking about possibly warped warped planks for the magenta, and then also for the pink, I was thinking pink terracotta, or like pink glazed terracotta. Let's actually check a couple things real quick. Let's grab this. We have universal dyeing on this server, so I can turn any color terracotta into another color terracotta. So let's actually test it. Oh, hello. Okay. Yeah. That got me off guard. Yeah, can't smelt with pink dye. Netherite scraps, but no fuel source. Okay. And then let's go grab a couple pieces, hopefully maybe, of warped wood. Let's see. Negative on the plank is. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna be able to find something that matches like a similar vibe. So if we try this and I don't like it, this is the first time, like I thought about this while I was doing some replay editing. Oh, I was like, where's my stuff? Yeah, this might not work. It's very, it's got a lot of white to it that the other ones don't. And this one's not got a lot of texture. So what I was trying to say basically is if you guys think of a block that I'm not thinking of that might help this, oh yeah, let's put that away at least. We're just gonna zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay, my oh my. I hope this works. Oh, this isn't gonna work because I don't have water. Okay, well we're gonna throw it on the ground and we'll set that next to it. Well, it's got a little bit of texture. The only thing is it's got those lines. Yes. Okay. Well, lapis, meh. And then let's go over here. I cannot believe I forgot that I don't have water. So as soon as I set this down, it's gonna die. Okay, actually, ooh. But this is gonna have a really organic look to it too, or really structured. Oh, whoops. Silly Zelda with the oh no. Oh no. My ideas aren't working. You guys, this is why you always test before you start recording. This one might be the closest actually. Okay. It's a little bit duller. Dang. Okay. So, I've got some requests. Help me. Help! What can I use on these 3 blocks? On these 3 corals to give them the nice cool effect that the red and the yellow had naturally. I started with red and yellow just because they were the first colors I grabbed, and I didn't even think about what these other colors were going to end up looking like. Need help. I need help. But that's going to do it for us for this week on Hourglass. Thank you all again and again and again and again and again so much for your continued support in the series and the server. We'll catch you later. Bye!